The first drops of rain begin to fall. Less than 30 seconds later, your backyard is empty. The feeder swings gently in the wind. The branches stop moving. The blur that had been sitting on the fence all morning is suddenly gone. The bird that had been singing from the hedge has fallen silent. You look through the window and think, they must have flown away. Maybe they're sheltering in a big tree somewhere. They'll come back when the rain stops. But they didn't fly away. They're not hiding in some distant tree. What they're doing right now, only a few yards from your kitchen, is one of the most remarkable survival strategies in the animal kingdom. You've probably never seen it, yet it's happening at this very moment. Welcome to Secret Life of Birds. Most people believe that when a heavy storm arrives, birds leave the yard and disappear into forests, barns, or places hidden from view. Scientists discovered something very different. The birds in your backyard don't travel far when it rains. They move to specific locations, places they selected long before the storm arrived, places only a few feet from where you're standing. Every bird knows exactly where it needs to go, how it should position itself, and how long it must wait. What you're about to learn is the hidden map of rain. And once you know it, you'll never look at a rainy backyard the same way again. The first thing you need to understand is what biologists call the rain posture. Most people have never heard of it. When a bird reaches shelter before a storm, it doesn't simply sit there and wait. It adopts a precise position and can hold that posture for hours. Its body becomes nearly vertical. Its neck retracts until the head is tucked close to the chest. Its feathers are pressed tightly against the body. Its wings fold firmly against its sides, and its feet grip the perch with incredible force. In fact, many birds can sleep without falling, because special tendons automatically lock their feet around the branch. Why do they do this? For one simple reason. Water. When feathers are properly arranged, they create a nearly waterproof barrier. Rain rolls off, but if even a small gap appears, water can seep through. Once water reaches the skin, body heat begins to escape. And for a tiny animal weighing only a few ounces, or even less, that loss of heat can become deadly. Every misplaced feather is a weakness in the armor. That's why birds remain almost perfectly still during a storm. Not because they're afraid, because physics demands it. Every movement creates an opening, every opening allows water inside, and every drop steals precious warmth. Now that you understand the posture, the next question is obvious. Where do they go? The answer depends on the species. Take the cardinal. If you have a holly bush in your yard, there's a good chance a cardinal is hiding there during storms. Researchers found that cardinals and many medium-sized birds prefer dense evergreen shrubs. These plants provide three important advantages. First, thick foliage slows down the rain. Second, dense branches help protect birds from predators like cats and hawks. And third, the vegetation traps heat. It's essentially a tiny shelter with walls, a roof, and insulation. If there isn't a holly bush available, birds may choose junipers, cypress shrubs, or other dense evergreens. What they usually avoid are open trees with large gaps between branches. Too much rain gets through. Smaller birds take things even further. Chickadees, nuthatches, and similar species often disappear inside tiny cavities. And here's something that sounds almost impossible. A chickadee can survive a 12-hour storm inside a space barely larger than a coin. A hole in an old tree, a crack beneath a roof tile, a narrow cavity behind loose bark. That tiny shelter can mean the difference between life and death. The reason is simple. Small enclosed spaces trap heat. The bird's own body warmth raises the temperature inside. Researchers have measured cavity temperatures that are dramatically warmer than the surrounding air. For a bird constantly losing heat, that warmth is priceless. So when you see a small bird vanish into a hole, it isn't hiding out of fear. It's moving into its emergency shelter. But what comes next may surprise you even more. Small birds don't always face storms alone. During severe weather, scientists have documented a behavior sometimes called communal roosting. Birds that spend the day competing with one another suddenly become roommates. Inside nest boxes and tree cavities, multiple individuals gather together. In some cases, several birds share a single space throughout the night. By pressing close to one another, they conserve heat. One of the most extraordinary examples comes from a small North American species known as the pygmy nuthatch. Researchers have recorded more than 100 individuals crowding into a single cavity during cold, stormy nights. More than 100 birds in one hole. Why? Because together they create warmth. The air trapped between them becomes significantly warmer than the outside environment. It's a living heating system powered entirely by body heat. Then morning arrives. The storm ends. The birds emerge one by one, and just like that, they return to normal. The temporary alliance disappears. They go back to defending territory and competing for food, as if the night's gathering never happened. But it did, and it will happen again during the next storm. Not every bird hides from the rain, though. Some take advantage of it. Robins are a perfect example. They often continue feeding while rain falls. The reason is fascinating. When the ground becomes saturated, earthworms move closer to the surface. Their tunnels fill with water, forcing them upward. For robins, a rainstorm can be an all-you-can-eat buffet. While the rest of the yard appears deserted, a robin may calmly walk across the lawn searching for worms. It's not being brave, it's simply taking advantage of an opportunity. Hummingbirds are even more astonishing. Considering how small they are, you might expect them to disappear during every shower. Yet they frequently continue flying. Their feathers possess microscopic structures that repel water extremely efficiently, and their wings move so rapidly that raindrops have little chance to remain on their bodies. They seem to weave between the falling drops themselves. Because their metabolism burns energy so quickly, they cannot afford to stop feeding for long periods. If you live where hummingbirds occur, watch your flowers or feeders during a light rain. You may witness one of the most impressive sights in any garden. But there's another layer to this story, and it changes everything. Birds often return to the same shelter again and again, storm after storm, year after year. Researchers tracking small birds discovered something remarkable. Many individuals repeatedly used the exact same refuge every time bad weather arrived. The same cavity, the same tree, the same hidden corner. Even years later, rather than searching for new locations, they returned to places they already knew were safe. That means the old tree in your yard isn't just a tree. The hedge along the fence isn't just decoration. The crack beneath a roof tile isn't just a crack. To a bird, these are addresses, permanent locations on a survival map. The chickadee you see visiting your feeder may spend every storm only a few feet from your window, tucked inside a cavity you've never even noticed. Your backyard is filled with hidden shelters, every shrub, every hollow branch, every protected corner. Many of them have already been claimed by specific birds. You walk past this invisible neighborhood every day without realizing it exists. Now here's something important. There are ways you can help. If possible, leave at least one dense evergreen shrub in your yard. To you, it's just landscaping. To a bird, it may be a life-saving refuge. If you have an old nest box, don't rush to remove it after nesting season ends. Many birds use those boxes as winter shelters and storm refuges. What appears empty may actually house several birds on cold, rainy nights. And there are a few things you should avoid doing. Don't heavily trim dense hedges right before storm season. Don't remove every overgrown corner simply because it looks untidy. Don't seal every cavity in old trees unless safety requires it. Many of those spaces serve as emergency shelters. And perhaps most importantly, don't assume that a perfectly manicured yard is automatically the best habitat for wildlife. Sometimes the most valuable part of a garden is the part that looks slightly wild. That messy corner may be a survival zone, so the next time rain begins to fall and the yard empties in seconds, remember this. The birds didn't leave. They're still there, only a few feet away. Some are tucked inside cavities no larger than a coin. Some are crowded together in secret overnight gatherings. Some are searching for worms on the lawn. And some are still darting between raindrops near your flowers. Your backyard doesn't become empty during a storm. It becomes invisible. Life continues exactly as before. It simply moves into the hidden places, into the shrubs, into the hollows, into the cracks, into the shelters that generations of birds have learned to trust. And when the rain finally stops and they emerge one by one, you'll understand something most people never notice. They didn't come back. They were there the entire time. You just didn't know where to look. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and join us for the next story from the hidden world just outside your window.